I'm excited that you've decided to be a part of the 360 journey together. Now, I believe that this is going to be time well spent. Not only are you going to consider some meaningful truths, but you get to do it in the company of people who care about you. Ultimately, the hope is that you'll discover new things about yourself and about God. And over the course of these next 10 discussion starters, we're going to be talking about what it means to be a full circle follower of Jesus. That's where the 360 part comes from. We say that a full circle follower of Jesus is someone who's experienced new life through trusting Jesus, who's walking out a new way of honoring God, and who's leaning into a new purpose of helping others follow Jesus as well. Now, you might be brand new to the Christian faith, or you may have grown up going to church all the time. We all bring our backgrounds and experiences to the table when we have conversations about faith, and our view of God is shaped by those same life experiences. Now, because of that, I've found that many people have an easier time believing that God is powerful than believing that He is good. You see, we can get behind the idea of an all-powerful being in the distance ordering the world, but it's harder to believe that God is personally interacting with me and determined to bring blessing, life, and flourishing to me and to my world, especially when I see so much pain and suffering all around me. But right from the beginning, the Bible paints a picture of a God who loves life and who loves what He has made, including you and me. Now, nowhere is this clearer than when we look at Jesus. In His own words, Jesus said, "I have come that you might have life and have it to the full." Jesus is actually framing out His entire mission as a person sent by God to restore life to the full. Not just a life of religious duty, not a life divided into public and private realities, but a life that is encompassing every part of family, of work and school, friendships and relationships. And following Jesus means embracing His vision of life to the full. So I want to ask you, what if God's design for you is to experience deep friendships and relationships, healthy emotions and inner life, meaningful work and joyful connection with God? That sounds like a really tall order, but that, I think, is what the Bible is suggesting. Now, there is very real brokenness all around us, and the Bible never ignores this. As a matter of fact, it gives answers that are far more nuanced and satisfying than any others I know. So in these 10 sessions, we're going to talk about the essentials of following Jesus. We're going to explore how answering this call shapes the way that we see God, the way that we see ourselves and others, and the way that we see our entire world. Now, there are a few ground rules that I want to lay out as you spend time discussing each topic with other people. First of all, come prepared. Take these conversations seriously. Watch the videos in advance, look over the discussion questions so that you can add to the conversation. Secondly, be willing to talk and listen. Bring your thoughts and opinions to the table, but be teachable and open to hearing from others and from God. Thirdly, apply what you learn. What we are talking about is too important to just be theory. The topics we're covering are meant to impact the way that we live and the way that we act. Now, you might wonder if you're up for this kind of journey. I want to assure you, you are. Let me point you to another thing that Jesus said. He said, "It's not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick." He said, "I've not come to call the righteous, but sinners." Now, sinners, that's you and me. Jesus called all kinds of people to follow Him, and not one of them was perfect. As a matter of fact, He seemed especially interested in those who didn't think they deserved to follow Him. Jesus simply looked for anyone who had the humility to learn from Him. Now, just a quick picture here. When I was a kid, it wasn't unusual for a friend or for a neighbor to stop by our house unexpectedly. When the doorbell rang at our house, it was a moment of excitement. Who is it? Who could it be? And we would all run for the door to try and answer it. Today, if somebody rings my doorbell and I'm not expecting anyone, my first thing is to look at my wife and say, "Who is that?" Turn off the lights, close the curtains, and sometimes we're hiding wondering, who is it that's at the door? Now, I don't know why that changed so much, but those are two totally different reactions to the same thing. The Bible says that God has made each one of us on purpose and with purpose. He isn't hiding out or ducking from us. He's actually calling us. He's at our door, and we have a choice how we respond. The aim on this 360 journey is life to the full. And today is just the start of that. But every great journey begins with one step. Jeremiah 29 in the Bible says, "You will find me." God tells us, "You'll find me when you seek me with your whole heart." Now, if you are willing to bring your whole heart, if you're willing to be honest with yourself and with others, and most importantly, with God, I believe that God will do something wonderful in your life in the days and the weeks to come.